all ministers who are part of the government must treat decisions by the government as binding. They must fall in behind them in order to show solidarity. Notice that in my formulation here it says all ministers. It doesn't say cabinet ministers. Quite a common mistake, often made even by people who should know better, is to call it cabinet ministerial responsibility or cabinet responsibility. It's not just for the cabinet, which numbers just a little bit over 20 people. It's for the whole government. How many ministers are there in the government? Well, there's probably going to be something like 110 or 115 ministers. That's including junior ministers in the government. How do we get to that figure? Well, we get to that figure because there's a limit, a maximum, a cap on the number who can be given ministerial salaries while they are MPs under the House of Commons Disqualification Act 1975. That doesn't apply to someone in the House of Lords. So you might add another 10 or 15 or at most maybe 20 people who are in the House of Lords and are ministers. If a Prime Minister wants someone to be made a minister who is not currently a member of either House of Parliament, that's not difficult. All that they do is that the Prime Minister makes that nomination to the Queen to suggest that that person be appointed to the House of Lords. But as I've already indicated, you couldn't do that with, you couldn't add 500 people as government ministers and put them all in the House of Lords. That would not be regarded as proper or acceptable. That would be unconstitutional. Okay, but it applies to all ministers, so to at least 100 people. In fact, the unanimity here is even extended to people who are technically not ministers, who are PPSs, parliamentary private secretaries, sometimes rather dismissively called ministerial bag carriers. The idea being that if the minister has to have a handbag or an umbrella or something like that, then these are people that will actually do these fairly menial tasks and book hotels and taxis and hold the umbrella while the minister is being filmed on TV and things of that sort. And this is in a sense regarded as an early step or the first rung on the ministerial ladder, but actually it's not technically on the ministerial ladder at all. There's no salary that goes with such a post. But if they do that and they behave themselves, then they might hope that they, next time round when there's a reshuffle and the appointment of new ministers, they might hope to be figuring in that and be given a junior ministerial role.